Hey, what's up, Culture Drop? This video is about candidate experience during the interview process with your company, and this is something that we have to talk about. All right, where this comes from, I have a couple of colleagues in my life right now that are going through the interview process. They're like, farther along in the interview process applying for jobs. And these companies are dropping the ball so hard. And I'm like, this is something that needs to be talked about. Your candidate experience. When they're going through the interview process, most companies, I don't know how or why, but they muck this up so badly, and it's such a bad look for your company. If you claim to care about culture or employee experience in your organization, this needs to include what it feels like to interview with your company, because you're setting the tone, right? When I'm having these conversations with teams, I'm like, you can expect what you're experiencing right now in your interview process is what it's going to feel like to work for this company. They're disjointed, they don't communicate well, nobody knows what anyone else is doing. Whatever is happening for that candidate, like they're making choices about whether or not to work for your company or not based on what their experience is like. And it is so common now for companies, for HR people, right, to be like, oh yeah, we hired this candidate and then they ghosted us. People will decide not to work for your company because like you put them through a weird ringer and you didn't communicate with them and it was weird. We are no longer in a world of companies getting to sit back and be like, you're lucky to interview for us and like, you're lucky if we hire you. There's a battle out there for candidates, and like very intentional, good employees that make your company successful are rare and excellent. You don't know who that person will be, but like you will lose your best potential candidates by having a really messed up and dysfunctional process for them to go through the interview. So here's some points and tips and things that I want to share with you. Number one, it is impossible to over communicate with people. Tell them where they are in the process. If you've narrowed it down to a certain amount of candidates, don't be dodgy or shady about anything. If you're narrowed it down to the top 3 or the top 10, let somebody know. Why would you keep that from someone? What is the benefit of withholding honest, transparent information to the candidate? As soon as you're not moving forward with somebody, let them go. Send them an email to be like, we're not moving forward with you in the process. Don't wait 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to tell someone that. Tell them right away. Think about the person who's applying for a job. They might have another job. You don't know what other things are going on in their life. Don't leave people hanging. It sucks. And for the people that you're moving forward in the process, communicate with them. Okay, the next interview you have is going to be with this person. Here's the context of it. Let them know, who are you meeting with? What is the purpose of this conversation? No one should have to go through 8 or 10 interviews to get a job, especially if it's not for a CEO position. Entry-level positions, just mid-level kind of not a huge deal positions. I've got friends who are in their 6th round of interviews. What are 6th round of interviews for? And these people are like, I'm meeting with random people from across the country, and it's not even clear how many candidates are left in the pool, what kind of decision is going to be made. These are things that for you as a company to communicate with people through the process, make them feel like you care about their experience. And you might be like, wow, there's 50 candidates or 100 candidates. I'm like, who cares? The person that you hire of that pool of candidates, you want them to have a good experience throughout the process. And that means you're going to have to give 20 or 30 or 40 people a good experience because your candidate is in there. Don't treat people like cattle and just make them feel like you don't care about them and you are not communicating with them and getting back to them. It sets a tone and it matters. My advice to you, if you want good candidates and you want to not make people doubt whether or not they want to work for your company, is over communicate. Tell them everything. Be transparent. Don't be shady or dodgy about anything. Tell them this is the salary range. This is how many candidates we have left in the pool. This is where we are in the process. This is how many interviews there are left. Why would you withhold that information to people? There's no benefit to that. People knowing more about the process and where they are in the process doesn't hurt you. So share with those people so they have a good experience. My impression is that a lot of companies think about okay, here's the process for us. The candidate does this, and then they do this, and then they do this. You need to have the perspective of what does it feel like to the person on the other side of that? When are we communicating with them? What are we saying and how and what? I think you need to have that lens as you think about the people that are applying for your job, because there are people who will ghost you, who will turn down the job, who will just ghost out of the process because you feel dysfunctional and toxic or whatever it is, or that it sends a message that we don't actually really care about employee experience. We care about us. We care about you're this cattle in this process and you get what you get. We have to be better. We have to do better. If you want great candidates, give people a great candidate experience. That's it. Go be awesome. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, or you can sign up for the Culture Drop mailing list and get these emails and videos right into your inbox.